Hello and welcome to this episode of The Language of Leadership. I'm your host, Chuck Marting. The start of a new year brings renewed hope. Resolutions are made with the best intentions, goals are set, dreams are reignited. Yet, as the weeks pass, the enthusiasm dwindles. Gyms start to empty out, journals collect dust, and those once clear aspirations fade in obscurity. This pattern is so common that it's even become a cultural joke, but the consequences are far from amusing. Why is it that most people fail to follow through on their goals, while just a small minority, what they call the 2%, seem to achieve success no matter what the odds? The answer lies in a specific set of behaviors, mindsets, and habits. We have plenty of examples to pull from in learning from leaders just how to prepare and overcome this. I'm talking about leaders like Andy Frisella, Tony Robbins, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, Abraham Lincoln, and Brendon Burchard. These leaders, they exemplify in what they coach and teach on a daily basis. They teach what it means to belong to and viewed in an elite group like this. Each of these leaders have overcome doubts, setbacks, inertia to achieve their goals. This episode is going to explore what makes the 2% different and how you can join them. So let's uncover the secrets of lasting commitment in the language of true leadership. There is a psychology of follow through. To understand what sets the 2% apart, we need to dive into the psychology of commitment and success. The difference isn't luck or talent, it's the way they approach their goals. First, let's talk about clarity and vision. The 2% don't set vague resolutions like get healthy, be successful. Instead, they create specific, measurable, and emotionally compelling goals. Andy Frisella is a perfect example. He often emphasizes the importance of knowing why you want something. The deeper your emotion and deeper your emotional connection to that goal, the harder it is to give up on it. Clarity doesn't just show you the destination. It keeps you anchored during the storms. The next thing we need to really look at is discipline over motivation. Now, motivation is fleeting. Discipline is permanent. Tony Robbins famously teaches that waiting for motivation is like waiting for the weather to change. The 2% understand this, and they build routines and habits that make success inevitable. They don't leave their goals to chance or rely on the feeling of being inspired. You have to identify and have identifiable based habits. Dr. Benjamin Hardy explains that our actions flow from our self-concept. If you believe you're someone who can't follow through, your actions will reflect that. The 2% adopt the mindset of their future selves, aligning daily decisions with who they aspire to become. It's not about willpower. It's about identity. You don't try to run a marathon. You become a runner and you do it. There are some real life stories of the 2% that we're talking about. So let's talk about Andy Frisella for a minute. He wrote a book called Mental Toughness. Now, I want to talk about building mental toughness. Andy Frisella, if you don't know who he is an entrepreneur. He is the creator of the 75 Hard Challenge, which embodies the philosophy of follow through. Now, the program isn't just about physical transformation. It's a mental toughness program. Participants commit to drinking a gallon of water, sticking to a diet, working out twice daily, with one of those workouts mandatorily being outside Regardless if it's raining, snowing, extreme heat, or cold, it doesn't matter. There's no excuses. It is not optional. It is required. You have to also read 10 pages of a self-development book every single day for 75 days. This can't be a Kindle or a PDF book. It has to be a physical page-turning book. No compromises, no cheats. Look, it's grueling. But those who finish emerge with a newfound sense of discipline. Andy's message is clear. Success isn't about grand gestures. It's about mastering the small daily disciplines. Now, Robbins, Tony models success. Tony emphasizes the importance of modeling. Early in his career, Tony sought out mentors and studied their habits. He discovered that the most successful people have rituals. Their structured time to focus on their goals. Tony's hour of power involves visualization, gratitude, and setting daily intentions. It's not luck. It's intentionality. Now, Dr. Brendon Burchard, he talks about your future self. In Be Your Future Self Now, Dr. Hardy outlined how to break free from procrastination and fear. His research shows that envisioning a vivid, detailed future, a future of self, helps you make better choices today. When Dr. Hardy struggled with self-doubt early in his writing career, he kept a journal where he described his ideal future. This act of future casting helped him bridge the gap between his current struggles and the person he wanted to become. Now, what about Abraham Lincoln? He showed resilience through failure. You see, few leaders embody perseverance better than Abraham Lincoln. Before becoming the president, Abraham Lincoln faced repeated failures, failed businesses, failed election losses, and even personal tragedies. Yet he pressed on, driven by a vision of uniting a divided nation. Abraham Lincoln's story teaches us that failure isn't the end. It's part of the journey. Then we have Brendon Burchard. He teaches incremental growth. Brendon is a modern day entrepreneur coach. He has built his success on the principles of incremental growth. By focusing on a small, consistent improvement, he's taught that you transform not only your business, but also your life and the lives of those you mentor. His message is clear. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Start small, but stay consistent and watch the compounding effect of that take hold. Now, there are strategies for each and every one of us to be among those 2%. So first, you have to break down your goals. One of the biggest reasons people abandon their resolutions at the beginning of the year is overwhelm. You know, that 2%, they break their goals into manageable, actionable steps. You want to write a book? Start with 1 page a day. Now, you have to create accountability systems. Accountability isn't optional. You have to find a coach or a mentor or an accountability partner who is going to hold you to your commitments. Andy Frisella and 75 Hard program succeeds because participants know that they'll be judged on whether they finish or not. What about leverage and visualization and identity? You had to spend time each day visualizing your future self. What does that look like? And how does it feel? When you internalize that vision, your actions are going to naturally align with your goals. You also have to celebrate progress. And we've talked about that a number of times here on the Language of Leadership. You know, success isn't linear. It's important to celebrate small wins along the way. You have to recognize progress fuels motivation and it builds momentum. There's power in journaling. You know, journaling is a powerful tool for reflection and growth, but you have to write about your goals and you have to track your progress and processes that you set. The simple habit of keeping you focused and aware is impactful in journaling. Now, leadership begins with leading yourself. If you want to join the 2% who follow through, you must become intentional about your goals and disciplined in your actions. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. Remember, every great leader from Abraham Lincoln to Andy Frisella, they all started with a single step. Now, close your eyes and envision your future self. What do you look like? How do you feel? Now, I want you to open your eyes and make a decision. Are you going to wait for somebody in some day, or are you going to act today? Tony Robbins says the path to success is to make massive, determined action. So let this be the year you break free from excuses. Commit to your dreams and lead the way, not just for yourself, but for everyone that's watching you. The language of leadership isn't spoken, it's lived. So, will you join the 2%? I'm Chuck Martin, and this is the language of leadership. Look forward to seeing you next week here on the show. And until then, we come out with another episode for you on the language of leadership. Take care.